guess to start off this episode is I've noticed that the past few episodes there have been a few audio mistakes, and I do the editing. Some things would get repeated or would get cut. It's because I typically edit these episodes while watching football, specifically Arsenal. So kind of get distracted by the game. And that's probably what happens. So yeah, I've noticed a few episodes. So yeah, apologies for that, but Arsenal's having a good season. So
they're currently in first. See if they can hold on to them.
Greetings and fist bumps. This is the Raised Eyebrow podcast, where we discuss how strange it is that humans haven't really figured out this whole humanity thing yet. We're your hosts, Kojo, Mike, and Alex. In this episode, we're talking about how strange mascots are when you really sit down and think about it. Sure, you have the easy low-hanging fruit, like the myths and local customs, but some mascots are just strange. Plus, we'll introduce a few new mascots for consideration.
Mascots.
So, yeah.
Mascots are an interesting one. Everything has a mascot nowadays, not just teams, but brands have mascots, right?
Yeah, it's amazing how, like, from the research, I noticed, like, man, these guys basically started this whole crazy mascots on everything.
Yep. Sports teams are the thing that pops up top of mind.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't even make sense. Like, let's look at the Toronto Raptors. Like, there's no dinosaurs in Canada. There's some fossils. But like, they had a vote back in the day for they had a new team in Toronto, and they asked the fans in a poll, like, what do you want your team name to be? And then some of the options that made sense were Toronto Towers, which, right, CN Tower, great Canadian landmark, definitely a Toronto landmark. Tall, right, like basketball players. There was another one that was like Huskies, which many people don't know this, but the first NBA basketball game was the Toronto Huskies versus the New York Knicks back in like the 1940s. The Toronto team later disappeared, but they were called the Huskies. That did not get a lot of votes. And then there was like dragons or like tarantulas. But the one that won was Raptors, just because in the mid 90s, Jurassic Park was part of the crazy popular part of culture, and so everyone loved Jurassic Park, like kids, parents, delinquents. So Raptors it is. And then a couple of years later,
it is a good mascot though. It's the only dinosaur mascot in the
and it's different from other sports.
Exactly.
Right. All the traditional sports teams are like the Warriors or the Huskies, or no pun intended.
Yeah, I noticed it's either like birds or it's like
a lot of birds. The
Falcons, there was a safe bet.
The Hawks.
Also, I would like to point out that we are 2-3 minutes into this episode, and Mike has already mentioned the Raptors.
You got to go with what you know.
He loves the Raptors.
This was the chance. We're talking about mascots. Sports have mascots.
like
the
right
Raptors
out of the gate.
Just get it out of the way. You know it's coming. I got my sweet spots, guys.
So I mean, I mentioned Arsenal off the top, so yeah, a fair point.
Raptors and Jews. That's my comfort zone.
So, yeah. All right.
Yeah, I don't think in this episode we're gonna get into this, but there are two categories. There's the sports and then products.
Yeah.
Like
right.
Brands.
I think we're gonna focus more on the sport and on end of things, but I wanted to bring up we're both in the marketing space, and there's the B2B products, which is like the Kellogg's and stuff like that has like mascots on them, and then there's also the B2C, which is the Kellogg's, and then there's the B2B, which they don't have much, but like MailChimp, for instance. Right?
With a chimp.
Do they have a chimp? I guess. Do they? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the chimp is the
logo.
Mascot.
Also, for the listener who's not in marketing, B2C is business to consumer, B2B is business to business. So
Right.
most of the advertising that you would have seen in your life is business to consumer, which are like breakfast cereals, toys, sports teams. That's all B2C. Yeah, that's all the
Yeah.
marketing jargon right there.
The McDonald's.
Yeah, but it's strange how like like consumer stuff, especially, like there's a lot of mascots in that realm, but the B2B side is kind of strange how they would have mascots for business purposes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you're dealing with other businesses, right? Like,
Yeah.
you still have to have a brand, I guess. Like, it makes sense for like Twitter. It's a bird.
Right.
Yeah.
But even the ones that are like commercial, like what's the Duracell bunny? Just keeps going and going. It's just like a pink bunny. Or the bunnies have crazy energy? I don't know that I know of. Is this a thing? You know.
I think that one is a bit of a sexual connotation to it.
Okay. Good for
oh, it's
the
Freddy the
vibrator batteries.
Mailchimp. That's his name. Yeah, and then Salesforce has this. It's like a kid who's wearing a onesie, and he's also in a bear costume. That's Salesforce's mascot.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a toddler in a bear costume. It's kind of a strange
Doesn't make sense.
mascot for a
Linux is a
cloud
penguin.
computing software.
Yes.
Just want to find a
Yeah.
Yeah, Lennox the
a
penguin.
cuddly animal. Make
Oh
it
yeah,
brand.
yeah, that's a cool one though. I mean, that's kind of cool. But
Mm-hmm.
from more of like marketing history kind of thing, there's this one copywriter. His name is Leo Burnett. You may not know who he is, but you would know who his creations are. And he's in his heyday, he created many notable mascots, such as some of them you may not, or some of them don't exist today, like Morris the Cat for 9 Lives and Hubert the Lion for Harris Bank. But some are more popular today, or still popular around. There's the Jolly Green Giant, there's the Keebler Elves, the Marlboro Man, the Maytag Repairman, the Pillsbury Doughboy, Tony the Tiger, and Toucan Sam, all created by Leo Burnett. So
From Chicago.
from Chicago, yeah. Yeah, still agency's still around today. Pretty notable one too. Yeah.
They're everywhere, like New York. I think Toronto we have.
Oh yeah, they have tons of offices. Yeah.
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 So mascots were a
on to-
go-to for Leo.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pretty much personified the brand. That was like his whole perspective on why a mascot was. He would take every brand has a personality in a way, and his vision was that you would personify that through the form of a mascot, which would kind of create more of a continuity across all your brand touch points, whether you're in the store and you see it on a cereal box cover or a package cover, or you see it on the radio or a television commercial, and that mascot would speak and kind of say things to you. Is that mascot is a personification of that brand. And in some cases it works very well, like the Pillsbury Doughboy, right? Like Pillsbury, not so much now, they sell other things too, but at the time it was predominantly dough-like products, cookies, bread type things, danishes, anything that was like quick and easy to bake, right? So, they had an anamorphized dough.
Boy, dough, dough boy.
Yeah, it was probably made at a lab somewhere,
Yep.
Um,
He made a fun sound. Woohoo!
yeah, you
Yeah.
just want to poke his belly, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'll get a belly. It's fine.
Yeah.
Get past the
Yeah.
treats.
Can we start by maybe defining what a mascot is?
It's a representation, like a physical representative of a brand. I guess a sports team is a brand, but not necessarily,
Right.
because there's college sports teams that are not. I guess they are brands, yeah. I stand corrected by myself. I'm rambling here. I don't have a definition off the top of my head. I just want to sound smart. I'm not succeeding, but I'm trying.
Right.
Alex is Googling mascot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's so from my notes I have, like, it's an animal. It could be an animal. It could be a person, or an something that is like represents a symbol for the group of people, and it also brings good luck, charm. I think that's like the main
Yeah.
point.
yeah.
Represents the thing.
Yeah.
But they could also be like real things too. There's like one university they have a bulldog as theirs, and the bulldog he goes out to games
Right.
and he dresses up all the time. A lot of military units they would have mascots based on real animals. There's one in Quebec
Yeah.
City at the Citadel there. I don't know what the unit's called, but they would have. I think it's a goat. Is their mascot?
Oh yeah, U.S. Navy is a goat too.
Oh yeah. At
Yeah,
certain bases, like
interesting.
there was one base in Kandahar when they were in Afghanistan. There was a dog that was just hanging out on base. And when someone would go there for their deployment, whoever was taking care of the dog, they would kind of pass it over to like somebody else after. So the dog would always have a caretaker.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just kind of this dog that would just hang around the base. So it could be
Yeah.
like
I
just
came across
physical
it,
things. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Alexander the Great used to have a dog as well.
Oh yeah.
And it's a way to kind of just bring like, it kind of makes people feel like, oh, hey, like when someone brings a dog to the office, for
Right.
instance,
It's good luck
and
essentially.
it's like work stops.
Yeah.
He was like Alexander the Great had a mascot of his own. So an actual dog. Sometimes mascots don't make any sense too, which is like they're like a concept, or like they're like an oversized like Muppet. You know what I mean? Like Montreal has a famous mascot named Youppi, or I believe it's pronounced Youppi. So like, what is it? It's just like an oversized mascot. He's existed for decades. And Montreal fans didn't actually know how to answer the question of what Youppi is. It's just kind of this like he's our mascot. That's it.
Yeah.
And he's just an icon in the city. Even so he was actually the mascot for the Montreal Expos, but then they moved to Washington, the Nationals. But UP stayed behind, and he's now at Montreal Canadian games. That's the hockey team. For those of you who don't know, he's just kind of a Montreal icon. Nobody knows what he is. He's just the oversized, Muppet.
Yeah, half Sasquatch,
puppet.
half something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he actually is unofficially inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
From,
Yeah, he is.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
First mascot ever to serve in 2 different sports, and one of only 3 mascots unofficially inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. I'm not sure how you can be unofficially inducted, but that's what his Wikipedia says, so can't be wrong.
There's he has like a cousin in hockey. Have you ever
Okay.
heard of Gritty? He's also orange and
Yep.
incredibly hairy.
Oh, it's Gritty's.
Gritty's cousin.
Yeah, for the Philadelphia Flyers. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So according to
Gritty.
Gritty's official biography, he's known for his Philadelphian personality. So UP is very Montreal personality, very excitable, happy,
Drinks a lot.
drinks a lot. But Gritty is known for his quote. This is directly from the Philadelphia Flyers website. His Philadelphian personality. That's how they describe it. So now, if you look at Gritty, he has like a very unkempt beard. He has non-blinking, googly eyes that make it look like he's had like just way too many drugs. So, and he's gritty. He does a lot of extreme sports, and I guess that's what Philadelphia is known for. So
It's a Philly thing.
They're
I guess so.
tough.
Yeah.
They're gritty.
Yeah.
It's a gritty town.
Did you find
Philadelphia.
UP's origin story or anything or?
Not that I found. No.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
have?
'Cause I found one for Gritty. That's why I asked. I was wondering if all mascots have an origin story, and if they don't, they
It's a good-
should.
I agree.
Because a lot of
I
my
agree. It's a-
ideas were focused on the origin stories of mascots.
Mhm.
So with Gritty, he emerged after the construction of the Wells Fargo Center, which is where the Philadelphia Flyers play, and that disturbed his secret hideout, and he never left the arena ever since. And that's why he's the mascot for the Philadelphia Flyers. He was there before. Yeah, just I guess he lives underground. He's a
Interesting.
strange character. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a good Instagram feed, though.
wow.
Follow him. So, same thing with the Philadelphia Fanatic. Philadelphia just has a lock on good mascots, in my opinion.
Mascots. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Philly knows how to turn out the mascots.
Yeah,
Did you guys find any interesting college mascots?
I did. Yeah. You?
I have a couple. You want?
Yeah, I have.
Or you go first, Kojo?
Yeah, I have. Well, I mean, since we're on, I wanted to bring the the San Diego chicken.
Famous.
The San Diego chicken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay. So, I mean, this is in the 70s, 1974, and it's designed by Ted Gianolas.
Okay.
So technically, like, this is pretty much like, I mean, okay. So before I get into this, it represents his creativity, humor, entertainment, and Ted, who is like, he's not like a comic or anything. He just happens to be a guy who happens to, perhaps, I think because he could be the only one who could fit in the costume, they made him, dress up. And back then, I think he used to work for the radio station called the KGB radio.
A KGB
And-
radio? Like a spy
It's funny,
agency?
right?
Okay.
Is it Russian?
They have their own radio agency.
And it started
Did Putin
as
work
him
there?
just distributing eggs, like Easter eggs in the beginning. But then it went on to become like he's like the guy who would entertain people during the game. Basically, which is baseball. And the coolest thing about him is he was like very creative, right? So he'd make up stuff on the fly, and it made him like become one of the greatest, like, mascots at that time, to the point where the radio station actually sued him because technically he's supposed to be for the radio station, but then he would do his own thing on the side. So they sued him, and I think he borrowed like 10. Yeah, he was being paid at that time, like $2
Jeez.
an hour.
Getting gypped.
Oh, wow.
To where so but then he became so famous that he had a salary from the radio station which was like 50 grand a year, and then when they sued him, he borrowed money, I think 10 grand, to pay for like the lawyer fee and things like that. And then when they debuted him, he came back on stage with him in an egg and then cracked, which is pretty much like an evolution of who he is. And from there, he became like an icon. Like,
What's his name again?
yeah, San Diego Chicken. Well, it's called the San Diego Chicken, but the guy's name is Ted Gianolas, Giannoulas.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks famous.
He
Is he still
looks
around?
famous. He has that famous look.
As in I've seen him in like,
oh,
I don't know, like sports clips or like, those like old highlight reels of San Diego Padres or whatnot.
I didn't know that. San Diego. Oh, shit! I've seen this before. Just Google it. Okay, yeah.
His nickname
That's
was also
awesome.
the KGB Chicken. It's hilarious.
Wow. I like how Wikipedia says species chicken. Oh, I didn't know that.
In case you're confused. Speaking of strange mascots or weird species as mascots, so the University of California, Santa Cruz, sorry, their mascot is a banana slug. Very weird. I looked up like unusual mascots, and this is arguably one of the more bizarre team names in NCAA history. But it's funny because it's based off of the ideals of the school. So they went with like an oily trail that slugs are known for. That's part of like the whole shtick, but slugs are meant to be a commentary on the overemphasis of athletics in college, and UCSC is a school that promotes the value of participating in sports over winning. And Samuel L. Jackson, he famously wore a Banana Slugs t-shirt in Pulp Fiction. Go back and watch that. And it's one of the more quirky mascots, and it's very it's suitable because they're a terrible sports school. So they're just like, screw it, we're a banana slug. Nothing matters as far as athletics go. Do your homework, kids.
They've been trampled.
Yeah. They're very self-aware, so they're like, whatever, banana slug.
While the game is going on, they're being trampled on.
Yeah. I've recently grown, like the teams that I have started to move towards are ones that own their fallacies. And this one seems to be like one that appeals to me. Like I recently became a New York Jets fan for all the reasons that.
How did you recently become a New York Jets
Well, because
fan?
I have a friend who's actually Stretchy Steph, who's a friend of ours, right? Like go back and listen to that episode. She gives a great interview, very knowledgeable.
Yes.
And she's a big football fan. She's a Raiders fan. So I wanted to, she got me into football because she kept talking about it. And so I chose the Jets because the Jets just lose all the time. They recently just, like 13 years in a row, they haven't made the playoffs. And it's just kind of like at a point where they just know they're not going to make next year's playoffs already. They just kind of accept it, but you kind of go along for the ride of the torture. Yeah, the season's over already, and it's just it's abysmal every year. So I used to be I still am a 76ers fan, but they're actually good now. So kind of haven't they kind of ruined it for me. Yeah, the process has actually reached
I understand. I'm a Tottenham fan now, so I understand the acceptance of loss.
Yeah.
Consistent loss.
Yeah, you were in first, and then you just started.
Yeah, we're injured.
You know that team, St. Pauli in Bundesliga 2?
Oh, yeah,
Germany? So they're in the second division in German soccer, and they eventually, at one season, they got promoted to the first division, and the fans didn't like that because it just put more attention on them, and it brought in all these pretentious soccer fans, and they wanted their team to lose so they could go down to the second division because they feel it's more appropriate for them.
That's amazing. So you gotta love stories like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, totally off topic, I just started watching Ted Lasso. Fantastic. Good.
It's a good show.
I don't know if that adds anything to this podcast. I just wanted to make that clear.
It just adds to life.
It's a sports show.
Ted Lasso's awesome. Yeah. Great show.
Football.
I have a couple for college athletes since you mentioned, or college. These are Mascots. 2 quick hits. College mascots. Go for it.
I got one more.
So, Dartmouth College. Their mascot is very appropriate. His name is Keggy the Keg.
Yeah. It's pretty solid.
I can get behind that. Yeah, I kind of want to go to Dartmouth College. It's in New Hampshire. Yeah, it's an Ivy League school. Yeah. Stanford University. I don't know why this is. It's just a pine tree. And if you Google Stanford University pine tree mascot, it's like these weird pine trees that have like just really big mouths, and it's just kind of a weird. They really need to get a branding agency to kind of like help them with that. Desperately.
Yeah, it looks awkward.
Yeah, very awkward. So those are the 2 college ones that I have. Yeah, but there's tons out there.
Yeah,
I got one more weird college one.
Before you say yours, because I think I have 2 more. So have you guys heard of the Otto the Orange?
Otto the Orange. Is this Syracuse?
Oh, this is. Yeah. Nailed it. Perfect. Like Syracuse is my hometown.
You're represented by an orange.
Yeah, I have to represent because you're representing the, so I have to represent my hometown too.
Do your thing.
So the name actually, there was a wave at a certain time where Native American, mascots were being phased away.
Yeah.
Due to racism and things like that. And so Syracuse used to have a mascot which is called the Sultan Warrior. And it actually started as a hoax where this campus magazine, wrote a story about Syracuse. One of their women's gymnasium was built on top of a grave of this warrior, and so they came up with a story. There's even a statue of a warrior, basically like on campus about this Sultan person. So eventually they decided to phase off this racist history, and then they used this campus color, which is the orange, and then they made it into the orange, like fruit.
Right.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's
Because
interesting.
Syracuse was called the Orange Men at one point. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the team is the Orange
Okay.
Men, and then the mascot is the orange
Makes sense.
auto.
Gotcha.
Huh.
'Cause I
Yeah,
think,
'cause I was
I
wondering
think at one
how
point they.
Yeah.
they got an orange being in New York, so that makes sense.
It's not Florida. It's a good color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, this is it. Yeah.
All right. One more quirky college mascot for me. I have Artie the Fighting Artichoke. Yeah, super random. So, as you know, students standing up for what they believe in is one of the hallmarks of college education. And that's
It
what
is?
Scottsdale, allegedly, that's what the Scottsdale Community College students did in the 1970s. They were angry at university officials for bribing their athletes with scholarship funds, and it was actually, those funds were set aside for Native American students. So students protested by choosing a ridiculous mascot. Enter Artie the Artichoke, who
Nice.
actually became pretty popular, and he's still around until this day. They had other choices. They had like a poll just to be as ridiculous as possible, and in that poll they had the Scoundrels of Rutabaga, but Artie the Artichoke seemed like the best option, so they just went with like weird vegetables. So
That's funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love when there's like the mascot is like born out of the culture like that. You know?
Yeah, you were asking about like origin stories, right? So
Yeah.
it makes sense. And college, I think, is pretty set with good origin
Yeah.
stories for their mascots. Professional sports, maybe not.
The naming
I have one more.
competition. That's that
Yeah,
reminded me
it's-
of Bodie McBoatface. There was a naming competition for a ship, and the name that won was Bodie McBoatface, and so that's what they named the boat.
Nice.
So my next one, we'll switch it up to more. Maybe these are more well-known mascot, or this one's definitely well-known. It's the Jack in the Box clown, and I focused a lot on the origin stories of mascots, and he has a very controversial origin story. So back in the day, Jack in the Box. First of all, let's describe who he is. So he's a clown with like a ping pong ball for a head. He wears a pointed yellow cap. And he's kind of like has this lovable character to him, but he has a very dark origin story in terms of how he actually came to be Jack in the Box's current mascot. So back in the 1980s, Jack in the Box restaurants would have a clown head as their drive-through microphones. So when you go through, like this little clown head that you would talk into. And in a rebranding attempt and a way to also promote a new chicken sandwich at the restaurant, I guess some things never change, they blew him up. They had this big spectacle where they just blew up this Jack in the Box speaker as a way to kind of just out with the old, in with the new chicken sandwich kind of thing. So that was in the 1980s. 10 years later, Jack rose from the dead. He was wearing a suit, no less. And he announced to, quote, vowed to one day reclaim my rightful place as the head of Jack in the Box. So in one commercial, he walked into the head office boardroom and proceeded to commit an act of terrorism by bombing it. And that was what made him the current mascot of Jack in the Box restaurants.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Very aggressive takeover.
Yeah, did not see that going towards a terrorist attack. Could not, could not predict that one.
Yeah. So terrorism is not cool. Don't do it. Yeah, we don't condone that.
Don't
It is
base your mascots
wrong.
off terrorism.
Yeah, not cool. Have you ever been to a Jack in the Box?
Don't
No.
believe I have. What's the
No, I've
other
never been there.
famous one in
Hardee's?
the States?
Sonic?
No, not Sonic. In-N-Out Burger.
Oh yeah.
Went to that one in Vegas. It was all right.
There's a lot of hype around that one. Yeah. Chick-fil-A, I don't get it.
It's all right.
Why is there lineups?
It's all right. Yeah,
Yeah.
the lineups I don't understand. I'm not waiting in line for an hour and a half for a chicken sandwich. Yeah, I don't care if it's phenomenal. It's all
Yeah.
right. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, Kojo, you want to go next?
Okay. All right. So then this one is Benny the Bull.
Famous.
Yeah. And so Benny the Bull is, if you guys don't know, That's Chicago's Bulls mascot. They've had him for about, I think he went on for like 50 years.
Wow.
From 1969 to 1994.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I think at that time, like he was like, like as famous as Michael Jordan himself.
I think Michael Jordan made him famous.
Oh, really? Oh, well, I mean,
But he went to 94 though. Wasn't Jordan on the team? Like that's when they were on their heyday.
But so he's no longer around now?
Well, I mean, no, it says till 94 to present.
Okay. So he came around.
Came back.
Yeah, 94
during
to
Jordan's
present.
heyday. So
Right.
So he did the comeback before Jordan.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess
Because
so.
MJ's not the GOAT in every
so
category.
I mean, so basically, he's this red bull with like pink hair, white horns with red tips, and then like a thick unibrow.
Unibrow?
And
Yeah. Brow.
Yeah.
Brow.
Unibrow.
brow. Unibrow.
Hard.
No,
Strong
it's
difference.
modern.
Just like
It's
the
you don't say
raised
brow.
eyebrow
You say
podcast.
bra. What's up, bra? It's brow.
It's the Raised Eyebrow podcast. We're changing our name.
The raised
It's like the
eyebrow.
unibrow.
The Raised Eyebrow. It's actually kind of funny.
Appeal to a younger audience.
So
Anyway, back to Benny.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's known for, being center of entertainment. What else?
He's one of the more like athletic mascots. Like he jumps off
Yeah.
trampolines and stuff. Like,
Yeah, he's like really fit.
and I think,
like,
yeah, he is, and like he became famous because he was one of the more like entertaining. Like he would do like gymnastic type entertainment, whereas
Yep.
other mascots just kind of waddle around and play with the kids, kind of thing. But he was like jumping off
Yeah.
trampolines and ladders, and
yeah, there's one where he's standing on ladders and just flips around.
just wild antics. He's on like motorcycles, jumping in the crowd. I think the Raptor was actually loosely based off him. I'm going back to the Raptors. Shocking.
Oh.
But the Raptor's also super athletic, and like he'll do all kinds of like gymnastic type antics. Benny the Bull was one of the first to introduce that.
Benny.
Shout out Benny.
Yeah.
I
Did
got
the
one
ABA
more.
have a lot of
Yeah, go for it.
like didn't the ABA have a lot of unique mascots where they would do a lot of because they needed to attract an audience because they were competing with the NBA at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they had a lot of unique in stadium spectacles
They were-
essentially. Yeah.
For sure, they were the first to have like because the NBA at the time was just like come watch the game, but they were the first to bring in cheerleaders, if I'm not mistaken, like at a basketball game, or like dancers as opposed to cheerleaders. I don't know if they had mascots though. Maybe I gotta do a little goggle on that one. But yeah, they were definitely like they'd have like boxing matches at halftime, like just crazy shit. Yeah, they were trying to compete with the NBA, right?
There's that one movie, Semi Pro, with Will Ferrell, which
Yeah, that's great.
obviously it's a
Fights a
comedy,
bear.
but it's based on the Flint, Michigan tropics, which I think was a real team.
Not Flint.
Not Flint. No, okay.
No, fictional.
Maybe
But
that's how they had
a
the
lot of
creative
teams-
license to do it.
Exactly. But a lot of the teams in the movie were real.
Yeah, because the Indiana Pacers were one of the teams that were in the ABA and they moved over.
Yep. The Nets and the Spurs also moved over.
Nice. Sorry, go ahead, Mike. You were gonna say one of your ideas.
No, just jumping off of professional mascots. That train of thought. My last one is Bernie. He's the Miami Heat mascot. It's the Miami basketball team. So Bernie is based like he's a flame. He's like a
It's a good
puppet.
name.
It is.
Yeah.
He's burning.
Does he Burnie?
B-U-R-N, like burn. Yep,
Nice.
exactly.
Yeah,
But
clever.
he is a famous answer to a trivia question. The question is, who is the only professional mascot to have been sued for assault and battery and faced up to 20 years in prison?
That's awesome.
Bernie. So he's like the rebel of mascots. He's got an attitude. He's not so lovable. So in 1994, Bernie dragged a female spectator onto the court, and he later turned out to be the wife of she later turned out to be the wife of a federal judge. and Bernie faced assault and battery charges plus $1 million for emotional distress. The mascot only suffered a $50,000 burning hole in his pocket. He was a little too aggressive with the federal judge's wife, but he's very he's just rough. If you Google or YouTube Bernie antics, Bernie the mascot, and you'll see him just messing around. There's famous clips of different players messing with him, they'll literally punch him. I think Conor McGregor knocked him out, the MMA fighter. He's just not very popular, but he's still around for some reason.
I love how he's a mascot for a Florida team. It's just it's
Florida man problems.
Yeah.
Very suiting.
That's good. So I have one more here. This one's not so much the mascot itself, but it's this one ad that they did. It was a 2012 Super Bowl ad, and it was for the Google Android. So in this ad, I guess a way to kind of connect to its audience more, the Android ended up getting human thumbs grafted onto its arms, so I guess it could use the phone. Okay. Which is strange because if you watch the ad, it has very serious Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes where they're stitching on these human parts to something, and there's the thread and not. And but if you really, I kind of thought about this a bit more than I should have, because if the Android is the embodiment or the personification of the operating system, and it wants to have thumbs so that it could use the phone, it's this weird commentary on simulation theory and or just this kind of twisted situation where it's the operating system is now using the device rather than the device using the operating system.
Exactly.
Interesting.
It's a really strange ad. I don't think the copywriter had the intention to actually make it that deep, or maybe they did. I don't know.
It became some weird Inception thing. Phone use within phone use.
What is the word that you try to make something human?
Anthropomorphize? Yeah. So, but what was the commentary on that? Phones are self-aware? What is?
I think it was for the Sony Xperia is what they were trying to sell or something. I don't know. It was weird. Yeah. I just got fixated on the thumbs. And they were they were white, and it was clearly dead tissue. And I mean, props to the makeup department. They did a good job with the prosthetics. Yeah. So, anyways, it end on a grim note for that part, for that segment of the show. Do you guys have any more?
Next segment? Nope, that's it for me.
All right.
That's it.
So for the next segment, this is more of a multimedia presentation segment, where we have used AI to create mascots for things, or to update the mascots for certain categories. Some of them are net new creations. Some of them are updates to current things, and we'll describe what it looks like to us or what our reactions are. Kojo and Mike have not seen these yet, so we'll describe what has been described here. And if you want to follow along, just go to our social media channel, The Raised Eyebrow on Instagram, flip through, and you can go along for the ride.
It'll all be posted there for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so we used AI to create a series of mascot images for certain things. We're going to start off with everyone's favorite subject, which is never controversial at all, which are new mascots for political parties.
Uh-oh.
So what this is, it's a there's a few original versions. They had Joe Biden riding on top of a jacked horse. I guess they traded in a donkey for a horse. There was also a politician wearing a cloak with some kind of crown headpiece with a jewel at the center, which kind of looked very weird. I ended up opting for this kind of lovable looking donkey who is kind of weird looking. I don't know. What's your take on this, guys?
He looks like he's stoned out of his mind. And
definitely, yeah.
He's
A lot
in
of
a
them
marching
they're
band
high.
for some reason, and he's blue.
Yeah. The blue is definitely on brand for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But super excitable looking donkey, wearing a marching band uniform. and is blue and with red
Yeah.
eyes.
I noticed a lot
With a
of
star on
Americana
his
that
shoulder.
AI thinks is marching band type stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's the American
The
Americana pride.
you mentioned Excitable, right?
Mm.
So
Yep.
this was another version of Excitable.
Ah.
So the version
What
2
is
for
that?
No,
the
this is not exciting.
I don't know where the knife came from. He's holding a knife.
This doesn't look like a.
This guy is storming the White House.
He looks like Captain America on an acid trip.
Yeah.
I don't know
yeah.
why it's all drugs.
Yeah.
But is that a wolf? That's a donkey?
Yeah, it's a wolf with a knife, yeah.
Okay, a wolf with a knife. Also,
Yeah.
marching band kind of uniform. Looks like who's that army recruiter guy?
Uncle
the
Sam?
One,
Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Uncle Sam was bitten by a werewolf and was high on acid and he was storming the Capitol with a knife. That's basically what AI went for.
I'm surprised they did well with the fingers.
Yeah,
Oh,
AI's
yeah.
gotten
Have,
better
like,
with the
6
fingers,
fingers?
yeah.
It's always a
Um,
problem.
Let's
Although
move
one
on to
of
the
I think
Republicans.
his thumb is.
His thumb's a
floated.
bit off,
Anyway.
yeah. Let's move on to the
It's broken.
Republicans, shall we?
Oh,
So with that, we
okay.
got its first run at it
World.
was just like this very Americana, creepy kind of thing. There's one that just looks like Charlemagne, like the former emperor of the Holy Roman Empire.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Strange. And then I love how they just put a Capitol building as one of the mascots.
Yeah, it's weird.
Fitting, right? It's just a building.
Just a, just a,
It's a
a
person.
bunch
a
of
person,
white
yeah.
guys in blue suits.
Yeah.
Next to an American flag.
That's basically
Capitol
Republicans. I ended up pushing it further, though, to this, which is,
Whoa.
yeah,
is that?
it looks like a alligator type jaw, but he's a bull.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
What animal is that?
it's a half alligator, half bull.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting.
Holding
Interesting
a
fella.
gun with a flag on.
Oh yeah,
top
it's
of it.
definitely armed for sure. He's
on
storming the
steroids,
Capitol
I
with
think.
Yeah, it is some full steroids.
Those aren't natural muscles.
No. And because we're Canadian, I wanted to throw in the Liberal Party as well. To which the Liberal Party went with just they're just
Speaking of
clowns.
acid trips. Just a bunch of distorted clown-like humans.
That's
It's
basically it.
very Canadian. It's very friendly.
I don't know about friendly,
and-
but yeah. The one on the left's not. He actually kind of looks like Trudeau.
He actually does, yeah. Just,
With green hair.
just lacking self-awareness.
Yeah, exactly. That's. It's amazing how good AI is. It just lacks self awareness, colorful, clowns,
Canada.
high out of their minds.
Canadian.
Yeah, liberals, right?
Canadian.
All right, but enough about politics. So I made the next two about just things that are in our zeitgeist. The first one, actually, the first category is for a mascot for social media, to which we have this one, which is at first blush, it's very friendly, very cute, but it also looks very angry. It's like social media. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Is it holding a balloon?
What
I
is
think so.
this?
Yeah, it's like an emoji
Or it's
chat
like a
bubble. I
blood.
think. Yeah.
It's a chat bubble. I think there's a phone as its stomach.
Yes.
It's
Right. And the fingers are way off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
different size hands. It looks like it's on antidepressants. That's how
Which is that's true.
It's been scrolling for too long.
The hearts look funny.
Yeah, it has very bipolar vibes to me because
Mhm.
its eyes look angry, but it has hearts around it. But then the puffs of smoke kind of make it seem as if it's like fuming, from like cartoons. When a cartoon's fuming, it has puffs of smoke coming out.
And it's smiling, but the smile looks like it's forced,
Menacing.
or like
Yeah,
it's not real.
it's social media.
So, I
Yeah.
think we should pose for a selfie right now.
There's a version 2 of this too, which, speaking of bipolar vibes, this one's definitely
What is that?
I don't know.
At least the hearts are more heart-like. But I don't
Yeah.
know. Is that like it's an eyeball with 2 eyeballs and shoes?
Yeah.
And it's red.
I like how it makes sure that they all have proper footwear, though. It's very responsible. Yeah.
That's great.
So
I'm not sure if it has like 4 arms.
it looks like it has 4 arms. Yeah.
Is it ears?
I don't know.
Maybe that is the ears.
It has, because it has like, yeah, they actually, or maybe they're like horns. I don't know what this thing is.
I don't actually know what it is, right?
Yeah. Strange. Next one is AI. So AI make its own mascot, kind of fitting, right? How does AI see itself? So this is how it sees itself. Where it's
The friendly robot.
Just looks
well,
like
yeah, look at the eyes though.
It's like
possessed.
I'm gonna kill you.
It's like possessed.
It's like, I will take over. You can't,
But I'm nice.
can't keep me down for long.
I kill, but I save.
Yeah, that's spot on for sure.
Yeah.
The last 3, I made mascots for each one of us actually. So yeah.
I'm scared now.
So I'll start with Kojo.
I'm definitely
this
gonna
is
be a
Kojo. Kojo's actually looks pretty awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
it's
has
pretty badass.
like some kind of.
But what animal is that?
I like that.
It looks like some kind of like a fox, kind of like a very
Okay.
noble fox, samurai
fox?
warrior vibes. Has some kind
Yeah.
of like amulet on his
Helmet?
forehead.
Yeah.
Yeah, very wise.
I'm gonna get this tattoo.
Yeah, it actually, like, of all the mascots so far, Kojo actually got the best one in my opinion.
Charming.
Charming, very charming. It kind of went for a theme too, because mine are very similar to it. Mine are a little bit more aggressive.
Jeez, that looks evil.
I know.
It's not safe. It's not
Yeah.
approachable.
Not approachable at all. No. Kojo's the wise one. I'm more of like I'm the brawn in this category apparently.
You kill people for
This
a
is
living.
like
Yeah.
a possessed goat,
Yeah,
and then I don't know what the right one is.
it's like a cat.
Yeah,
Yeah, very
Yeah.
feline.
menacing feline.
So, and then I did Mike. Mike is the last one, and it did not follow a theme with this one. Well, there's 4 versions for Mike, and it
Broke
did
the
not
AI
follow a
algorithm.
theme. The 4th one followed a theme, but the other 2 are kind of strange, especially when like you think of the name Mike, which is a male name, because it chose 3 women as its representations of Mike. An Asian woman and 2 black women. I don't know why.
Well, I don't know what the third thing is. Is that a woman?
I don't know. It's like a goat in a suit or something.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
What did you type in?
Mascot that represents Mike. Yeah. Maybe it was I put your last name in, which we won't say. We'll just say
Yes.
Mike Smith. I put your last name in, and I don't know. Maybe it was the last name that kind of tipped it off. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But like, I don't see how. I don't know how you interpret that, but I like the evil goat.
Yeah. It's like a corporate businessman, like Wall Street banker vibes.
It's
Like
its
the bull
nose-
market. It kind of has like that
Yup.
going on for it.
Huh? I see that. And the nose is a heart shape, but it's silver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
With a diamond forehead.
nice amulet.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, feminine mascots for me.
Yeah. Apparently Mike is a black woman.
And a very white woman. And a crazy Wall Street creature.
Black woman.
Yeah. So there you go.
Do we need mascots in our lives? I think we need mascots in our lives.
I think we need more mascots. I think everything should have a mascot.
It adds
Yeah.
flavor.
Like, Your bus stop should have a mascot.
I agree.
Yeah.
Technically, I mean, the common theme around mascots are they pretty much embody the team's tradition, or even the local culture, and good qualities, evil qualities, all mixed up. And I find we don't have enough, like the orange auto, fruity mascots. So, and then some of the mascots that we have are very racist.
Yeah.
All the native ones.
If we're cleaning things up, you can't go wrong with a fruit, and especially fruits that are like happy fruits that kind of give you some kind of like good vibes. So I went with the mango, and this mango will be called the Mango Tango, and the motto for this is the ability to tango throughout the different situations with grace and enthusiasm.
It's a very spiritual mascot.
Yeah,
I dig that.
Very well thought out.
I think every California team should have an avocado as its mascot.
Yeah.
Like that.
Or an almond.
Yeah, an almond. Yeah.
For the damage they do.
That
to
just
the
drinks
bad
too
ones.
much water. It
Yeah.
steals people water. I think if I was to do one, just to make sure that everything is like, not going to offend anybody, everyone will be happy with it. Just play it very neutral. The mascot I would propose, which would be suitable for any company, organization, sports team, town, city, would be a toasted multigrain, just with a little bit of butter on top. Just bread. Just plain bread, maybe toasted. Yeah. Because that way it's multigrain, so it's inclusive of all grain.
Inclusive,
Yeah.
everyone.
Right?
Yep. It's toasted, so it has crunch, right? Because you're a team, you want to be, aggressive.
Aggressive.
And it's non-offensive. No one can be offended, except people with gluten allergy. So no, it would sort of be. Yeah, sorry,
You're gonna offend someone.
Fuck that one up. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Back to the drawing board.
You have to start over.
Gluten-free toasted multigrain bread. There you go.
Well, there are people who would get
Avocado
offended.
on toast.
Yeah, but then there's a whole industry with
Oh yeah,
avocado
environmentalists don't like
corruption.
avocados.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Can't do peanut butter either. Almond butter. No, you can't do almond butter either. Cashew butter
Almond.
on toast.
Oat milk. Everybody loves
Oat milk. Oat. Is there oat butter? Can we do oat butter?
I think so. Sure.
Okay.
Oat butter.
Oat butter on gluten-free toast.
I just
Gender
think
neutral.
some people are against toast because like paleo diet folks or like keto.
Right.
Anyway, this has gone on far too long. Someone's going to be offended.
Can we make
But-
like an oat? Okay, a gluten-free multigrain oat.
So
Based
follow us
toast.
on the social medias. Raisedeyebrow.podcast. We're on everywhere. And you can follow us on Instagram for all the visual representations of terrible mascot ideas.
Except
And
the
remember,
toast.
kids, mascots have feelings, and they can get triggered too.
Including, especially Bernie.
Definitely Bernie. Bernie's angry.
Definitely Bernie, yeah. Watch
All
out for
things.
Bernie. Go Heat.
Crunch.
Crunch, crunch, crunch.